Hey YouTube, it's ICU. Today we're going to be discussing not only several rumors pertaining to the Apple TV 4, but also the rumored iPad Pro and iPad Mini 4, all of which are expected to be announced next week at Apple's September 9th media event. Alright, so to kick things off here, if you guys are interested in a 4th generation Apple TV giveaway, which I will hold once the device is officially announced and released, be sure to rate this video up and let me know down below in the comment section whether or not you think I should hold it. Now with that said, let's go ahead and get straight into this video. Alright, so to kick things off here, the Apple TV is an absolutely amazing device, especially with its all new $69 price tag. You can do so many things, including mirroring content directly from your iOS device or Mac computer. You can also completely control it from iOS or even the Apple Watch. Not to mention the fact that it's an awesome multimedia streaming device that can connect to services like Netflix, Hulu, HBO, and so many others. However, it is starting to show its age. Now this is the Apple TV 3 or the 3rd generation Apple TV, and here is the Apple TV 2, its predecessor. So they look identical, right? In fact, this was actually the one I was showing you guys toward the intro and when I discussed my upcoming Apple TV 4 giveaway. You can't really tell a difference, right? But also an internal overhaul of the Apple TV. So that's where these new rumors come into play. The device is expected to feature a complete redesign inside and out. As for the price tag, it's expected that an 8GB version will cost $149, whereas a bump up to 16GB will cost $199. And you might say, well, why would I need a 16GB Apple TV? In fact, the current Apple TV 3 has 8GB of internal storage, which is rarely ever used. Now, the reason you need a bump up in storage is because of the rumored App Store. Yes, the Apple TV is finally expected to feature a full-fledged App Store, guys. Now, beyond the external and software redesigns, we're also expected to receive a new remote for the Apple TV that mixes a number of different inputs. It will supposedly have a touchpad or be partially touchscreen based, have motion input, so similar to what the Wii U can do with its controller, as well as have a microphone for Siri and dictation access and integration. And as far as the motion bit is actually concerned, it's expected that that will be intended for casual gamers. So developers will be able to create basic games where you'll be able to use the remote control to essentially interface with your Apple TV. Again, for some casual games. Beyond that though, it's also expected that the device will be able to have additional Bluetooth gaming specific controllers. So Apple may actually challenge the industry leaders being Sony and Microsoft with, of course, their PlayStation 4 and Xbox respectively, and try to enter the home gaming arena. Will they actually do that though? This one seems less likely than the other reports or rumors, but at any rate, also with the motion sensitivity, that definitely makes sense. We would essentially have the motion input for more casual games like we find on the Wii, and actual controllers for more hardcore games like what we'd find on an Xbox or PlayStation, for example. And also, as far as the Siri portion is concerned, it's expected that we will have a unified search. So you'll be able to search through things like Netflix, iTunes, and other services just by using your remote control. That's a very cool concept. Other set-top boxes have had that feature for a while now. It's time we have it on the Apple TV, especially in an Apple-esque fashion, because of course when Apple does things, they end up doing them right, and most of the time better than competing services, although of course that is based on the user's opinion. So without getting too opinionated, let's give a quick recap. So the 4th generation Apple TV will supposedly be announced next week on September 9th. It may not be available for purchase until October, but whenever it is available, it will be expected to cost either $149 or $199 based on the internal storage configuration of your choosing. So either the 8 or 16GB configurations. It will also have a new revised controller with multiple forms of input and Siri integration, as well as the App Store. So guys, this next generation Apple TV is shaping up to be absolutely amazing, probably one of the best or one of the most drastically updated products that Apple releases or announces next week. But what about a completely new device and new category for Apple? They're expected to announce the iPad Pro next week, which will supposedly be a 12-inch iPad, significantly bigger than the current largest 9.7-inch iPad. It's expected to feature an A9 CPU and 2GB of RAM, of course, a Force Touch-enabled stylus, Force Touch beyond the stylus, similar to what we may find on the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus, as well as a possible USB 3.0 or USB-C port. It will also run on iOS 9.1 and isn't expected to be released immediately following the event, but rather when 9.1 drops, which could be in October or November. And Apple is also expected to announce the 4th generation iPad mini at the event, but not the iPad Air 3. And allegedly the reason for that is because they want to focus on some massive updates to the iPad, and they want to significantly rework it while bringing the iPad mini up to par with the iPad Air, because of course the iPad mini features a subpar processor in comparison to that of the iPad Air 2. So the iPad mini 4 may have Apple's A8X chip that we see inside of the iPad Air 2, which is actually significantly superior in comparison to just the regular A8 chip we see in the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, because it has 3 cores instead of 2, offering massive improvements in not only the CPU but also the graphics departments. So the iPad Air 2 and the iPad mini 4 will be comparable, whereas the iPad Pro will dominate all with an improved A9 CPU, kind of like what we'll see in the next generation iPhones. Personally, I'd like to see a regular iPad being an iPad Air refresh, because of course Apple has refreshed the 9.7-inch iPad every year since its inception in 2010, so it will kind of be a disappointment. But if they are working on some massive feature improvements, then maybe it will be worth it to wait a year, and until then we'll have the iPad Pro to hold us over. What do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comment section. And also, while we're speaking of CPUs, it's expected that the 4th generation Apple TV will have an A8 CPU, not an A8X, so similar to what we see on the iPhone 6 or 6 Plus, or even the iPod Touch 6th generation, which of course is powered by a slightly underclocked A8 chip when compared to the iPhone 6 or 6 Plus. That might be what we see in the new Apple TV. At any rate though, guys, this event is shaping up to be absolutely amazing. We may see so much released other than just the new iPhones, and that may be partially due to the fact that this year's iPhone 6s and 6s Plus might not be as amazing as last year's 6 and 6 Plus. For additional details on that, as well as what we can expect from the iPhones, be sure to check out my dedicated playlist. I'll have a link for you guys in the cards right now. There's so much on those devices that of course I didn't even get into in this video. I'll also have live coverage on the event. I'm planning on doing multiple forms of live coverage, so be sure to stay tuned. I'll announce more details as we start to approach September 9th. Click that subscribe button down below if you have yet to. Also, be sure to like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, as well as Instagram at iCUID. And for the giveaways, which I will be holding once the new devices are announced, be sure to sign up for freeappsfast.com, as it will be a requirement, because they will of course be the sponsors that provide the products for you guys to actually receive. So just navigate to freeappsfast.com, sign up, download any of the apps for points, and then you can actually use those points for some awesome paid applications or gift cards. Again, guys, I really do hope you like this video. Stay tuned for complete details, and until next time, this is ICU signing out.